Got it? Today I'd like to inform you on the sport of bass fishing and its rise in popularity since the 1960s. When one usually thinks of fishing, each definition may be a little different than the other, depending on the area or culture in which one was raised. When one thinks of bass fishing, some think of it as maybe as a leisurely activity, maybe on a Sunday afternoon, taking the family to the family farm pond, or maybe to spend a couple hours on a Saturday morning wading up the creek with your ultralight gear in hand on the hunt for this great creature that lives beneath the surface. Or to even others, it may have gone to a whole new level of fishing, one of that to the professional tournament circuits, and maybe fish on a full-time basis. Much of this phenomena started back in the late 1960s with a local Arkansas couple who farmed beef cattle and guided fishermen on the White River beneath Bull Shoals Dam. Their name was Forrest and Nina Wood. Their business was, they were always looking for new ways to increase their business and improve on maybe a new boat design. And they were thinking one day that they needed a better boat design to maybe better satisfy their customers and that might draw more business to them as guides. So Forrest started working on designing a new boat. And so, as of then, the Ranger Bass Boat was born, and the Ranger Bass Boat Company. In this lake region of the Ozarks, this started a new sport, and it has been taken to new levels each and every year afterwards. Many people found themselves with a competitive nature, and they gathered at local boat ramps throughout the region, and they would throw their money in a pot at the beginning of an evening or early of a morning. And at the end of a specified time, they would all gather back at that same location and see who would have the heaviest stringer of fish, and then the winner would get all the money. This grew in popularity very fast, and founder Ray Scott of BASS organization partnered with his longtime friend Forrest L. Wood of Ranger Boats, and they started a tournament series where anglers would fish a series of tournaments on different lakes throughout a region and then meet on a neutral lake for a championship each year called the Bassmasters Classic. As the prize money and the winnings grew, so did the interest of anglers. Other tournament circuits have arose, and with all the publicity of many sponsoring companies and corporations, they have jumped in on this sport, promoting their products or services, much like those in the NASCAR industry. Therefore, making it financially feasible and able for an angler to become a professional and make a living at the sport they love. From a normal baseball, basketball, and football childhood, by the time I was 14, my father was paying my entry fees in these local tournaments and some not so local tournaments, and giving me the experience of fishing with and competing against some of these great fishermen and professionals at this time. This sport became very addictive and a major influence in my life, and by the age of 30, I was able to start fishing on a professional level for a time. The sport has grown into a multi-billion-dollar industry with many people benefiting from this relatively new sport, with jobs and businesses, growth in many communities. Many new boat companies were born, lure companies were born out of this, motor companies, and the electronics industries exploded. Along with other major corporations, you might be aware of such as Johnny Morris's Bass Pro Shops that originated in Springfield, Missouri. In this same region, in a small liquor store that I bought bait from as a child. This sport has grown so much in popularity, the great state of Missouri in which I now reside has now adopted bass fishing and made it a state-sanctioned and recognized sport in our public high schools with equal representation of other sports such as football, baseball, and all the others combined. Thank you.